How's it going, James? Online Car Show. Got a video here on what I think of the new Camaro Refresh for 2019. Now, I wasn't originally going to do a video on this, but I have had a lot of questions from viewers of the channel on what my personal thoughts are on the 2019 Refresh. So I decided to go ahead and do the video. I thought we'd look into a little bit of Camaro history and see if we can find out what Chevy's thinking with this design here. But without hesitation, let's get this video started. Now, I guess the first thing to look at is what you're getting with the 2019. I believe they're switching to a 7-speed manual. In my opinion, I'm not a big fan of that 7-speed. I sure hope that rumor isn't true. I've heard other sites say it was still the 6. So we'll see on the manual portion of the transmission. I think it is confirmed though that the automatic is getting the 10-speed, and that is a definite plus. That 10-speed is hot. It's coming from a Corvette guy. The 10-speed is utilized in the Corvettes, and it's literally, I think, like a half a second or 0.4 of a second faster down the drag strip just because of that transmission. It's a hot transmission. Mustang guys will tell you the same thing. That 10-speed is nice. So I think we got a plus definitely with the transmission. Hopefully they don't release the manual side of it, the 7-speed. As I said, I like the 6 personally better. Now, the other things of the car to look at. I've heard there a rumor it might have line lock. If that's true, that's really cool and a definite plus for Chevy there. Now, are these new functions and stuff going to be able to bring people to buy the car? With some of the design flaws, as we'll get into, that it has, well, time will see. I think that mechanically they're building a great car with some great features. The A10 transmission, as I mentioned, the line lock is being a possibility. It sounds like it's keeping the same stereo, but they're doing a software update. Not a whole lot of interior rumors circulating of changes there, so I don't expect to see many there. Now that we've talked about, I guess, some of the functions that I've heard coming out, or some of the technical aspects, let's dive into the aesthetics and look at the car. All right, well, we all know about the front end. I'm going to start here because this is where a lot of the controversy is. If the wind will work with me today. As you can see, it is just wind today. Gotta love living near the coast, right? All right, so back to the front bumper, 6th gen compared to 6th gen Refresh coming 2019. Now, I will switch back and forth between some photos and this so y'all can see the differences I'm speaking of. Let's just start off with the worst thing and build on that. Build to the good. Bow tie placement. And the new Camaro, they've lowered it to here in the bumper area, the front fascia bumper. Now, they blacked this thing out, which I don't totally agree with either, because it's still there, and underneath this there is a functional actual bumper that helps you if you get in a wreck. So no matter what, this fascia is going to have to go across, and they can paint it black, do whatever they want, but no matter what, it's still going to be there because you've got an actual bumper that's underneath this. Okay, so a lot of people, the biggest thing people had the concern with is this bow tie moving from here to dead center in the bumper area of the fascia, and I gotta admit, it does not seem like it belongs there. It's the biggest thing that seems like it doesn't belong on the car. It does look like it's a flow tie, which is cool if it would let air pass through, but the placement is just all wrong in my opinion, and I think every Camaro guy's eyes. That's one of Chevy's biggest problems. Move that sucker back up. All right, now we'll get into the stuff I'm just kind of that might grow on me in time. Basically, stuff that I'm just kind of on the fence about and don't know what to think. As you're going to see in the picture, and I'll switch to it here, you're going to see that this part, and I'll switch back, this part right here on the new one, it seems like it's almost like a little flap, and then it blacks out here. I've gotten many people sending me shots of Mitsubishi Lancers, Honda Accords, Chargers that have the exact same setup. I think Chevy kind of copied a lot of things here from other cars, and on another part of the hood I'm going to mention here in a minute, I think they took it from other cars, and I don't like that at all. The Chevy Camaro is one of the, if not the most stereotypical muscle car of all time. And now we're getting into a little subject in this that I think Chevy needs to go back to. As we know in Camaro history, the Camaro's gone from a boxy first gen, a little bit slicker in the second gen, you know, a little more fluid looking. And then, you know, they went extreme, of course, in the mid-'80s, and the whole car design changed. We went to the Knight Rider style Generation 3 Camaro that, you know, set the world on fire, and not just Camaro Trans Am, but, you know, the IROC Z, the Trans Am, the GTA, the RSs back then. They were gorgeous cars, and they really made a sell. You know, now today they're known as, you know, the mullet car, or, you know, the guy, stereotypical, you're gonna hear Metallica coming from that car when it's driving down the road, whatever. But in its time period, let's face it, guys, it was a hell of a car for GM, and I think it sold really good, and it had a lot of hype on the street, and it was one of the fastest cars in its time period. Now, where GM went from there, they changed to the 4th gen, which was a lot slicker. Honestly, I think the design on the 4th gen may have lacked a little bit, but I think where it made up was the mechanics. The 4th gen had some of the biggest improvements we've seen on the Camaro. You went from the early 4th gens, you know, with the LTs to the LS motors. Lots of technology was advanced in that time period. It became basically, went from a you know, a dumb suspension muscle car to a track contender, really, during the 4th gen era. And that was also during the 5th gen era of Corvette, and it saw the same thing happening. It went more of a you know, of a car that everybody made fun of not being able to make a turn, to a car that was, you know, competing with Ferraris and other things on the track all of a sudden, and being a, you know, a big drag car. And then the design changed once again. We've got the 5th gen, and this is where I think Chevy did everything right on the 5th gen. The 5th gen, they went back to, what do you think about when you think of Camaro? Which Camaro, when you ask somebody off the street what Camaro comes to mind when you say the word Camaro, they're either going to tell you, they're from my generation, they're going to say, you know, the IROCs and all that of the 80s, or they're going to tell you the 1st gens, and it probably is going to be the 1st gens. If I think of any muscle car in history as being the #1 most stereotypical muscle car out there, it's going to be Camaro, and then Challenger. Now, where Dodge has really vamped on this is that they know the Challenger was a hot muscle car and one of those stereotypical muscle cars, and they've really capitalized on that. And I think GM needs to too. I think that they hit a nail on the head with the 5th gen. I think the 6th gen started getting away from it a little bit. I do like the 6th gen, the one I have, just because it's so damn aggressive. It looks good. It looks good driving on the road. It looks mean as hell. And it's still, you know, got some of the fender lines and so forth, and the window down, the back windshield that you'd see on that 69. Which the new Refresh does have, but it seems like it's getting farther and farther away from that 1st gen look. And I think that that's where Chevy honestly is losing all the respect on it, is that they're trying to copy everything else, and they already have I mean, one thing Porsche 911 learned, what Porsche learned with the 911, is the more they jack with the design of that car, the less cars they sell. If you are familiar, they had a Porsche 911 there for a while had different headlights and taillights. They couldn't sell the car just because the headlights and taillights were so different from the 911s. So that's you know, if you've got something, if something isn't broke, don't fix it. Isn't that the famous saying? If you've got a great design, you know, add a little aggressive things to it like you did maybe with the 6-gen, but honestly they were starting to branch away from it even here, you can see. And they should have been bringing it more of that, you know, more of those characters back. It might be cool to see a 2nd gen. You know, we've seen in the 5th gen, we saw a retro redo of the 1st gen. Why not? Why didn't Chevy try to hit other cars? You know, you've got the 2nd gen Camaros. They had some really good years in the beginning, and it'd be cool to see that. Now let's get back to, I guess, I got kind of carried away here talking about my thoughts on Chevy's history with the Camaro and where they should go with it. Let's get back to the car. So we stopped off talking about here in this weird flap they done on the Refresh. This came from the Transformers movie and Bumblebee. That's all I got to say about it. It's I'm not really for or against it. It just seems like it's there, and I don't really like that. And you know, it should pop. And this car pops. But I think the new one, you know, if you're getting this much publicity bad publicity off the get-go, I sure hope Chevy does something here. But another problem I have, I guess, with the new Camaro Refresh is this angle right here on the hood. As you can see on this car, it's very Camaro. You look at a 5th gen, you look at a 6th gen, you're gonna know it's Camaro even if you just saw, you know, this top portion here of the car going across. You're gonna know it's a Camaro, right? Well, the angle seems to have gone less hard and more smooth, excuse me, which is a lot more reminiscent of the newer Mustangs, honestly. And I think that the hood, the way it slopes right here, kind of reminds me of the new Mustangs. I don't like that. Now we're going to get on to the positives, what I like about the new Camaro. Honestly, at first, I didn't like their hood scoop. But I'm going to be honest with you, as a 6th-gen Camaro owner, these little buggers right here, they're kind of a pain in the butt to clean. I have to get in there with the Q-tip to clean that damn vent real good. The Corvette Stingray I had, it was very easy to clean the vent on the top hood. So now that I think about it more and more, I am kind of for it. I do kind of like the new hood design. It's a Chevy thing. It's on the Corvette, you know. Okay, well, we can live with that vent, and it's more functional. It lets more hot air out. You're gonna have lower, you know, under hood temperatures, so that's a good thing. So okay, I'll go with the hood scoop. I'm okay with that. And the design of the hood has changed a little bit. The lines just slightly. Seems like it's more raised look. I kind of like that. I'll give them a plus there. Other things that I would say a plus. The grille design, I'm kind of in the fence about. It was a pain to clean on this one, but I like the design. Honestly, a little bit more on this one than the new one. The new one's cool. I don't mind it. It's kind of a neutral thing, but I like the grille in this one a little more. But they're both going to be a pain in the butt to clean. The new side vents on the new one, I did kind of like that, how it had side vents right there. That's pretty cool. I do wish that they had added a little vent here to get rid of some of those underhood temps. That's a huge thing on the Corvette, and it really is functional of getting those temps out, because you have air flowing through here and you can naturally exit the car. I wish they would add, I know there's some aftermarket products for that, but I do wish Chevy would add even a little vent there. Would be pretty cool and functional. The back of the car really do like, honestly, and a lot of people are up in the air about the new. I will say I do like the new taillights on the Refresh, and this is coming from a Corvette guy in the past, because I'm gonna tell you, Camaro guys right now, the Corvette guys never liked the fact that the Camaro and the Corvette shared the same taillights, and I'm not really a fan of it either. I think the Camaro and the Corvette are different animals, and they shouldn't share the same taillights. And the funny thing of this is the Corvette guys really want the old circular taillights back, right? and I saw the new Camaro has circular taillights. So the Camaro is getting the taillights the Corvette guys want, which is hilarious to me, and I love them. So I do like the new circle taillights. I think it gives a racy look. I know a lot of people are kind of pissed off about it because they said it reminds them of the Cobalts and it looks a little cheap. But you need to really look at those headlights. I think Chevy's doing something really cool there because they seem like they're 100% LED. And I really like the aspect of the technology that's going into them. And I think they have a cool look. So I think that's something that's going to grow on people in time. Now another thing I noticed here on the new ones, and Lethal Camaro hit this on one of his videos a while back when he was looking at the camouflage version of the new one. There's a little hump that comes out. Oh, I don't know why it's twisting that. There we go, gimbal. There's a little hump that comes out on the new one right here, and it kind of widens up the rear end when you're looking back. I kind of like that aspect. You know, it's a little bit more muscly look. It beefs it up a little bit in the back. So yeah, I like it. So now that we've talked, I guess, about the aesthetics and some of the functions coming on the new Corvette, let's talk about what really matters here, the horsepower. Is it going to take a Mustang? Is it going to take the Chargers, the Challengers? Chevy is upping it, but maybe not in the way you think it is. I've heard they're not changing the horsepower at all, but I'm going to tell you right now that new transmission with the 10-speed is going to still make it a lot faster car than this one. So they don't really have to up the horsepower on the engine. They're just going to be able to access that horsepower a lot easier in the power band by utilizing the 10-speed transmission, which is really cool. So I'm not expecting there to be any changes in the motor or horsepower. Who knows, there might be a little bit just to get them over Mustang. That 5 horsepower Mustang pulled on them. But I'm not expecting it, honestly. So there you have it. There's my thoughts on it. Take them or leave them. But I'm kind of on the fence about it. You know, I waited 3 days before I even did this video because my initial reaction was, oh shit, you know. But there are some aspects once you really look at the pictures and stuff. I think Chevy should have released it a little better than using CBS News. The whole thing was kind of weird. It was like a CBS News crew guy going out to release. What is that, GM? You know, Dodge Demon released theirs with a whole freaking crate that had animal noises and stuff. And yeah, so I feel the marketing guys at GM could have done a lot better job with the, you know, the release of the Camaro. That I feel like we kind of got cheated on that. I don't know if that was a mistake, if CBS News took it upon themselves to do that. If so, then, you know, shame on them for that. But it did kind of ruin the release of a car that they've been teasing us with for a long time by driving it around on purpose with camouflage, and then to just throw it out at a news program like that was really kind of disappointing. I will say that for sure. But there you have it. There's my 2 cents. Take it or leave it on the new Camaro Refresh. Be sure to keep in contact with the channel. We've got GM Parts House has new taillights and some t-shirts they're going to send me. Our new third brake light, I should say, for the car to match the clear smoke lights. We're going to have that install coming up very soon. Also got the race between Bubba Blue and me coming up. We think we've got that scheduled maybe April 22nd-ish, somewhere around that weekend at least. It's going to be in Sealy, Texas, I think, is what he said, and so be on the lookout for that coming up. It's going to be real exciting. Anybody wanting to come out, you know, and help us with the videoing of the race and stuff like that, please let me know in the comments, and we can arrange something. Alright, thanks for watching my video. If you like it, please hit that subscribe so you don't miss any future updates, and I will catch y'all later.